I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Originally designed by Charles Moneypenny, the same architect who created Daytona International Speedway, Michigan International is best known for awesome speeds and competitive racing spawned by its broad racing surface and 73-foot wide, 18-degree banked turns. Michigan's width and steep banking ensure there's always more than one racing groove, and the fact that MIS is not a super speedway means that drivers have more than enough power to make the challenge out of the turns at both ends of the track. Once upon a time, Indy cars frolicked on those high banks at breathtaking speeds. Witness to Paul Tracy's record qualifying lap of 234.949 miles per hour. Today, Michigan regularly vies with Daytona, Talladega, and Texas as NASCAR's fastest speedway, with Jeff Gordon holding the NASCAR Cup Series track record, 206.558 miles per hour. Richard Petty, David Pearson, Bobby and Davey Allison, Dale Sr., Jr., Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, all have added their names to the roll call of MIS winners, one that also includes names like Andretti, Foyt, Unser, Mears, and Zanardi from the days when Indy cars raced in the Irish Hills. Allison, DeYarborough, Andretti to Zanardi, the world's greatest racing drivers have been coming to Michigan to test their mettle for more than 40 years. The fans, well, they've followed in the hundreds of thousands. Tonight, they're here to see the Lonestar Racing Cup Series Irish Hills 198. And it's coming up next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Michigan Speedway for the Irish Hills 198 Lonestar Racing Cup Series. 99 laps, going to be just a couple of miles shy of 200. Why? Because we felt like it. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Going to be a good race to watch. Usually Michigan Speedway does put on a great show. Practice just wrapping up here at the Speedway. Top of the board is Stephen Light. Light in the pits at the moment. Second quick, Derek Welch. Will Hewitt back to run some laps here in the Lonestar Racing Cup Series. Drew Blaze, Chris Goins rounding out the top five. Taking a look at the point standings coming into tonight, Drew Blaze still with the points lead. PJ Cox is second, Jason Blaney third, Chris Goins up to fourth. Corey Deal has slipped, I think it was from second last week, back to P5. Unfortunately, a family emergency taking him away from the racing. Family does come first, but it is what it is. Still in contention, though, in that fifth position, only 47 points back from Drew Blaze. It's anybody's season at this point. Still plenty of racing remains. Got 9 of you guys here in the stream so far. Corey D in the stream chat got a big hole to come back from. What better place to start than Michigan Speedway? Pretty solid field in here tonight, 22 cars. Derek Welch, I'm just here for freedom and beer. Derek Welch, second quick still in this session, only about 800 slower than the 099 of Stephen Light. Practice clock ticking down here, 10 seconds remaining. Derek Welch is in here just getting some laps again, trying to gain some more experience in this next-gen Cup car for his own league over in the Numb Thumbs Racing League. So, qualifying next. See who hits the pit lane and starts to roll first here. We'll try and spot them. It looks like it's going to be Nick Kulikowski, the number 22 Motorbikes paint scheme. Motorbikes Plus, that is. New paint scheme on that number 22. Nick out of Wells, Maine. Haley in the stream chat, my unofficial marketing director. Hit that thumbs up, everyone, for a great racing channel. Certainly do appreciate it each and every week. In almost every single race, Haley is here cheering us on, helping us out. I still don't even know how you found our channel, Haley, but either way, we're glad you're here. Nick out of turn 2 down the backstretch. WAO, as we like to say. A little check up into 3 and 4. Not a whole lot. I think the top time is going to really come from whoever can put down the lap with the foot to the floor the whole way around. Nick out of 4, going to cross the line here. Where does he check in? 39.22, first lap for Nick Kolakowski. Stephen Light across the stripe. First lap, P1, 38.901. Pretty close to where he ran in the practice session. We're going to finish out his second lap, see if he can pick up. Add a little padding to that provisional pole. Just like practice, though, Derek Welch, second quick, 39.15. Kolakowski's second lap quicker as well. So was Stephen Light. Backs up his practice time just about 38.83. I think it was an 82 in the practice session. Sean Roberts on the Speedway just starting his first lap. Sean out of Albertus, Pennsylvania. Will Hewitt in the stream chat. Everything crashed for me before qualifying. Will, you are a tech support guru, an IT professional. Get your stuff together, buddy. Hope you get this thing squared away before we go green. These races are always better when you win them. .39.324, Roberts' first lap. He's 15th currently. Tim Dummermuth out of 4. He's finished his first lap. Let's see if he picks up on number 2. Dummermuth goes up 4 spots, 39.21. Chris Goins. We were talking about Oreos last week. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he landed himself a sponsor. Number 28, Oreo Cookie Machine. Trying to crack the top 10 here. 39.11 first time. Crosses the stripe for the number 2. And it's second quick. Outside pole. 38.856. Sugar High got him to the front. Quick lap out of Chris Goins. Of course, that's Haley's favorite. Qualifying just about wrapped up here. Just about everyone's taking a time. Ken Blackburn, Jonathan Arnn, Will Hewitt, Jarrett Woodard. Will's back on track, though. Got his stuff squared away, it looks like. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to get this lap in or not. Don't think he will, as we got about 10 seconds left, but the extra lap certainly worth it. Takes the green, but little, too late. So with that, we're going to take a very short break. We'll be back with our starting grid after this. Back at Michigan Speedway for the Irish Hills 198. Take a look at our starting grid. On the pole position with a lap time of 38.837 seconds, it's the 0.99 of Stephen Light. Outside front row with right turn racing, it's the Oreo man himself, Chris Goins. Starting in row 2, Drew Blaze in the 3rd spot. Nick Kulikowski is going to start 4th. Matt Sisler and Jason Blaney 5th and 6th. Ken Couch will roll off from the 7th starting position. Corey Deal 9th. Derek Welch will start from the 9th position. 10th, Chris Klein. 11th, Jonathan Byram. PJ Cox 12th. Dan Storm and Tim Dellermuth round out row number 7. 15th, Sean Roberts. Clay Atwood 16th. Dane Lloyd 17th. Daryl Larson 18th. 19th goes to Jarrett Woodard. Will Hewitt 20th. Ken Blackburn and Jonathan Arnn rounding out the field in 21st and 22nd position. It's your starting grid here from Michigan as we work the backstretch into 3 here, getting ready to take the green flag in just a couple of corners. Don't go anywhere. It's about to get crazy. iRacing pace car pulls off the banking down pit lane. As we wait a green flag here from Michigan Speedway, the Irish Hills 198. Green flag waves, we're underway. First lap complete. Chris Goins out to the point. Drew Blaze, Jason Blaney, Matt Sisler, Nick Kulikowski, the top 5. Stephen Light back in the 20th spot. Not 100% sure there, but I think he may have received an EOL penalty. That may be a win penalty. Got to go back and double check that. I think that is the case. But Goins off and running 0.4 of a second back to the 24 of Jason Blaney. Field still pretty close together here out of turn number 2. Everybody clean and green. Got Jesse Redding in the stream chat. Goins racing an Oreo car couldn't be much more of a match. Well, we talked about it last week about how he loves his Oreos. He said, oh, why not? I'll make an Oreo car. Oreo, Coca-Cola, Castle Products, and Nilla wafers. It's an interesting mix. Watching some other battles throughout the pack. 10th position, that's the battle we're watching here. Jonathan Byram with Sean Roberts trying to attack. Ford versus Chevrolet down the backstretch. Just shy of 200 miles the race distance here, 198 to be exact. One car out of shape out of turn 2. Quite sure who it was. Dan Storm possible, yes indeed, the blue and yellow machine, that was Dan Storm. Slides up the racetrack, almost contact with Sean Roberts. Had a hairy moment out of turn number 2, and it continues inside turn 4, almost getting into the 66. That would be for the 10th position. Caution on the Speedway.
Any feeling about the car
Tim
at all?
Gummermuth, it looks like, having an issue. He is going the wrong direction on the Speedway. Looks like he had a problem exiting turn 2. Or was he? Maybe he wasn't facing the wrong way. Maybe he was just on that inside wall. But let's see if we can get a look at it. Try and find a decent camera to come up with this one here. Stationary camera in turn 2. Let's try it. Has a problem. You can barely see it off in the distance, but that's not going to be enough to give us an indicator. Let's see if this helps a bit from the blimp. At speed. Doesn't make... Oh, there is contact. Kind of a tank slap. Goes up and hits Stephen Light. Trying to save it himself. Little overcorrection, gets into the car to the outside, slides to the inside wall. Wasn't facing the wrong direction, but definitely not what he wanted to have happen. Contact with another car and then the inside safer barrier. Under caution for the first time tonight. Jason Blaney, ironically enough, headed down pit lane. Gotta wonder if this is just going to be a fuel stop. Only been out there for about 6 laps under the green flag, so this might just be fuel only. Quick top off as they only have 2 sets of tires over the wall. Trying to maximize the best they can, but that is a lot of track position to give up this early on. Stephen Light, though, in the pits. Not going to take tires, but certainly fuel and also some repairs. Drivers are afforded 1 quick repair, but whatever the damage may have been for Stephen Light, not severe enough to take that fast repair. At least I don't think. Well, with that, let's hope he can get it fixed up. Get back in this thing. Pace car lights are still on. So right on board with Chris Goins. We're going to jump out, take a real quick break. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Michigan Speedway, you can see the field forming up 2 by 2. Pace car lights are off, so we'll be going back to the green flag here in just about half a lap. This thing restarted. Stephen Light back on the racetrack, stayed on the lead lap. Field hanging back pretty significantly from this pace car. You want to be tucked up a little closer. But he seems okay with it though. Chris Goins, Drew Blaze to restart the field.
Green flag.
Goins fires. Kolakowski was a little bit back from Drew Blaze. They're off and running down in turn number 1. Jarrett Woodard a little high off of turn number 2, about 14 cars back. Clean restart, it seems. Everyone up to speed down into 3. Side by side goes Nick Kolakowski, Matt Sisler, Corey Deal. Corey Deal with a new paint scheme. Still HBR TV on the side, but some new colors, or was it? Maybe I don't recognize it. I think that's a new paint. I wasn't consulted. Chris Goins, though, on a tear, starting to pull away. Corey Deal into the second spot. Drew Blaze running in third. Matt Sisler is going to go around on the high side, take that spot away, move Blaze back to fourth. Meanwhile, Will Hewitt started at the back of this field. He's up 16 spots already, charging through this field. He's going to try and fight Drew Blaze for a spot. Again, don't be alarmed by this, folks. Drew Blaze going to be a contender before this one's over. He's just not about to go out and beat up his stuff early on in the race. For what? What are you going to gain? There's no stage racing here in Lonestar Racing. Just trying to rack up laps led. What's the point? The only one that matters is the last one. Chris Goins still with the lead out of turn number 2, but Corey Deal closing in fast. Draft really comes into play here at Michigan, especially with this new Cup car. Top 4 under a blanket, lap 13 into turn 1. It's Chris Goins, Corey Deal, Matt Sisler, Will Hewitt. Watch out for that 33. He is on a tear, and he's not giving up until he sees the point. He can see it. He's up to third. Got a huge run out of turn 2, taking that spot away. Corey Deal all over the back bumper of Chris Goins into the tri-oval. Will Hewitt trying to take advantage on the bottom, get the left sides below the white line. That's fair game here at Michigan. We're not at a super speedway. We talked about that in the open. We got the big power package and all. Will Hewitt tucks in behind Corey Deal, though, as Deal goes to the point down the back straightaway. New leader, Chris Goins, drops out. That's more of a strategic move by the 28. Knew these guys were coming in a hurry, didn't want to push the issue early on. Saw a mirror full of Corey Deal. Coming to the stripe, lap 15 goes on the board. Corey Deal, your new race leader. P2, Will Hewitt, Matt Sisler, Nick Kolakowski, Chris Goins, the top 5. Battle for the lead, we right on board with Will Hewitt. Corey Deal drops down to break the draft, kind of protect the inside, but he's going to have to come up before the corner. Opens the door for the top lane. Will Hewitt goes to the outside for the lead. Side by side on a 2. Doesn't lift. Great battle for the top spot here at Michigan Speedway. Will Hewitt, Corey Deal. Deal's going to lead it at the line They spent the whole lap just about side by side. This is opening the door, though, for third and fourth. That's Sisler and Kulikowski. Kulikowski comes down, almost gets a piece of Ken Couch. Jason Blaney, after his pit stop for fuel, he's worked his way back up into P6. He's going to be a factor, and almost more contact. Everybody scatters, trying to avoid. I think they all got away with it clean. Still side by side for the lead into turn 3. Guys, it's lap 17. What are you doing? Not that I'm complaining. I don't have to worry about it. I'm up here calling it. This is great. Everybody's happy now. If you want them up on lap 18, though, trying to fight for the top spot for what? Hewitt noses out in front. A little bit of push from Sisler. Sisler's going to drop down in front of Blaney. Now he's going to go back up in front of Kulikowski. Sisler better be careful. A lot of blocking going on. We get a car in the wall. Kulikowski gets a piece of the safer barrier once again. Almost collects other cars. Nick's going to drop back to P6 or worse. Said it before, I'll say it again. Flying in formation here at the front of the field. Still, Will Hewitt, Corey Deal fighting for that top spot. Matt Sisler, indecisive, trying to figure out where he wants to go. And if I'm Matt Sisler, man, you got to be careful. Very aggressive moves for this early on in the race. It's working. He's up there in that third spot, but to what gain? Drops back to P5, maybe. Patience, the better part of valor there. Corey Deal retains the top spot coming to lap 20. Will Hewitt second, Jason Blaney, Sisler and Couch going at it. Side by side. Ooh, a little bit of door slam. Contact sends the 08 up the racetrack. That's going to cause some tempers to flare. Meanwhile, Chris Goins is taking advantage of this little squabble between the 08 and 93 is Sisler. Goins trying to make the move on the outside. Sisler there just in behind. Couch a little loose out of turn 2. Goins and Couch continue to fight for this position. Goins has him clear. Chris back to P4. Remember, he started up front here today. Outside pole. Stephen Light had to start in the back. He got caught up in an early race incident. Got some repairs made. He's already up to the 7th position. He'll be challenging Matt Sisler here momentarily, but Nick Kulikowski's taking a look to the inside. Stephen Light will be a factor before this day is out. Taking a peek to the inside on Matt Sisler. This will be for the 6th position. Oh, man, Sisler just cut him off. Almost contact. That was close. Had the run on Ken Couch. I don't know if he realized that Light was as close as he was. Right on board with Stephen Light. Couch trying to defend against Matt Sisler here. Light's trying to find a way around. I think he's a bit quicker than both of these drivers right now. Light clears Matt Sisler. PJ Cox coming into the fray as well. Sisler, I think, a little too aggressive too early. Might have burned up his stuff a bit, got the tires too hot as he's continuously sliding back now into that 7th position. He's challenging up there in the top 3. And speaking of challenges, Will Hewitt's going to the bottom, looking for the lead here. Doesn't have quite enough of the run to the bottom to do it. Corey Deal maintains the top spot. Chris Goins back in P3. Remember, we talked about Corey Deal. Unfortunately, some family emergency he had to attend to last week. Missed the race. Trying to make up for it already here, leading some laps at Michigan Speedway. Wind would certainly help his cause. Top 3 starting to get away, but we got a big battle from 4th on back. Couch, Blaney, Sisler, Light, PJ Cox trying to go to the outside on the 99. Drew Blaze in this mix as well. He's 9th. Zach Millett in the stream chat. Let's go Oreo. Cheering on Chris Goins. Jason Blaney to the inside, trying to take a spot from Matt Sisler. Another battle for the lead. A little bit of push coming from Chris Goins. Will Hewitt to the point. Does he have enough of a run to slide up? He might. He's clear. Crossover from Corey Deal. He's going to go to the bottom in front of Chris Goins. Back to the inside he goes. Corey Deal to the point at the stripe. He's going to lead this lap again. Great action here at the front of the field. It's top 3 drivers putting on a show here at Michigan. Little wiggle out of Corey Deal out of turn number 2. Almost contact with the 33. Corey's going to slip back to P3 now. New leader, clear. Will Hewitt, 2nd. Chris Goins, Corey Deal, 3rd. Ken Couch, Jason Blaney, the top 5. We're going to go HBR TV side by side. We're going to get this out of the way. We'll be back after this. You won't miss a minute of the action. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
track at Michigan Speedway. The battle up front just continuing. It just won't end. We're over a third distance here at Michigan, and these guys have been battling like it's the last 5 laps since the drop of the green flag. Will Hewitt, your leader, Corey Deal, Chris Goins, Jason Blaney, and Matt Sisler, the top 5. All separated by just 0.6 of a second. Back to Stephen Light in 6th. He is 0.8 back from the lead, but he is going to be a factor. Again, he started at the rear, had a little issue early on, had to get some damage repaired. Looks to be back up and running. I don't know how much that car is being slowed. But man, the draft will come into play as you see it right now. Chris Goins pushing Corey Deal, trying to get him to make a move here on the 33 of Will Hewitt. Somebody must have promised Chris Goins a case of double stuff after this race. He's on a charge. One thing we love about Michigan Speedway is the various lines the drivers can take around this place. Multiple groove racetrack makes for crazy exciting racing. We see it here at the front of the field. The battle, 3-way battle, could be even more. Right now it's Corey Deal on the bottom, Will Hewitt up top, Chris Goins trying to make the move maybe to the middle. That would be brazen, especially this early on. Again, guys, keep an eye on the number 99 machine, Stephen Light. He is quietly sitting in behind Jason Blaney. Again, real-world experience behind the wheel of that number 99 machine. He knows that he's got to be patient here. There's no need to push the issue. If an opportunity arises, yeah, go ahead and take advantage of it. But don't push too hard. Take care of the car. Had a near miss early on. So far, he's recovered from it. Slides up a bit, maybe some contact. Lost the back end, more contact. Jason Blaney trying to pinch him down just a bit. Had room to go up, didn't want to give him the space. Continue to watch this battle. They're losing ground to the leaders in doing this. Stephen Light takes the position. Battle for the lead out front. Corey Deal to the inside. Will Hewitt using the outside lane for the momentum. Matt Sisler is trying the same game. He gets around Chris Goins. He's going to try and continue it. Gets alongside Corey Deal down the back straightaway. Will Hewitt continues to lead. Incredible racing here at the front of the field. 5-6 cars. All fighting for the top spot. You know, with this race going the way that it has, we've talked about, oh, guys, you're being too aggressive, too early. There's no need for this in contact. Goins gets into Sisler. Just a gentle touch. Matt's got to be okay with that. He's been awful aggressive here early on, too. No harm, no foul. Expanding on what we were just talking about, it's fun when you can race like this, especially if you're in here in the sim, you're participating behind the wheel here. The racing that Michigan Speedway produces, especially with this next-gen Cup car, it is hard not to try and race, guys, because it's just a blast. You get massive runs. You got all the room in the world to make something of it. Problem is, eventually, it's going to bite you. Ooh, Stephen Light scrapes the outside wall off of turn 2. Continues on. Blaney gave him the space to not wreck him. Chris Goins and Matt Sisler continuing to fight for this second spot. Will Hewitt's loving that. He's got some breathing room, can kind of relax a little bit while these two fight for those positions. Corey Deal's in behind him, waiting for them to wreck each other. Has the spot for now. Might be able to suck some of the draft off the 33. Sisler tucks in behind Gones, though. He's got a good slipstream as well. Take about the same line. Got to wonder how much the aero is going to affect handling with these cars, especially as the run continues on. The aero tight condition may play a part. If you get too close to the guy in front, mid-corner on entry, do you slide up the racetrack? Right to the back bumper of Will Hewitt. We'll see right here what happens to Chris Gones. Does he want to get the air on the nose? Doesn't seem to bother him too much, but he does kind of go a lane lower than the 33 Will Hewitt. Trying to peek out, get a little air on the front of that machine. I do have to say, though, amazing run by Will Hewitt right now. He's up 19 spots, folks. He started 20th, had some computer issues to start the race, had to restart, come back in, wasn't able to get a qualifying lap in. Was placed in the lineup strictly based on I-rating order. He's worked his way all the way up here to battle for the lead and led a bunch of laps thus far. Now he's got a challenge from Chris Gones. It seemed that the bottom lane, it's been very difficult to complete the pass from that part of the racetrack, especially without help. You know, we talked again in the open, this is a lot like a super speedway, but without the super speedway package, the reduced power, the high downforce, that sort of thing. Gones drives it way deep, slides up the track a bit, no contact made. Hewitt able to get back to the gas and power on by. Doesn't get it completed though, still side by side, coming to the stripe, lap 45 goes on the board. Top three, oh, Will Hewitt gets a piece of the wall, cross start finish line, that's gonna slow his pace a bit. Might have been checking the mirror. Got to regroup. Way high entry to 1 and 2. He's going to have a big run out of 2. If he's good with this, he might be able to still defend. Zach Millett, double stuff to the front. I figured that's why you were laughing in the stream chat. So we have had one caution to speak of so far tonight. Drivers have a 95% max fuel load, so I would expect pit stops coming up somewhat soon. Chris Elliott in the stream chat. Doesn't strike me as the Fins kind of guy. Chris Elliott throwing shade in the chat. Doesn't matter. Chris Gones to the point. Takes the spot away from Will Hewitt. Back to the lead here. And again, we are late in the run, light on fuel. Tires are hot and wearing out. Some drivers in the pits. Clay Atwood, Dane Lloyd. Darrell Larson as well. Dan Storm in the pits as well. Wouldn't expect it to be too terribly long. Now, with that said, some drivers pit a little bit early here just to top off the tanks during that caution. Derek Welch, Jason Blaney, Chris Klein, Ken Blackburn. They all made real quick top-off stops during that first yellow. These guys are still battling hard for that top spot, even though pit stops are coming. Like I said, it's a lot of fun. Well, he's coming right now. So's Matt Sisler. Hewitt and Sisler down pit lane. First scheduled stop of the day. Chris Gones stays out another lap. It's about 2 full seconds of fall off, and he slides into the box. Will Hewitt, almost a close call. In a little bit crooked, but he wasn't too close, and he wasn't out of the box. The caution's on the Speedway. Nick Kolakowski in trouble.
You got your release mark correct coming into pit road.
This could be a big advantage for Will Hewitt if he can get out of here and stay on the lead lap. He's down and away. Chris Gones out of 4. Will Hewitt gets his pit stop in before the yellow comes out, stays on the lead lap. Couldn't have planned it better if he tried. So on to turn 2. Chris Gones and Derek Welch. Now, Welch has plenty of fuel. I don't know how tight it was on fuel for Chris Goins, but you got to wonder if he's going to have an issue here, even under caution. Does he have enough to make it back around? He's not in the throttle here. Not trying to catch the pace car. The drawback here is if he waits too long, he may have to go another lap under caution to do this, or just take the penalty. You don't want to run out on the track, especially under yellow. You're just not going to make it back around coasting. There he goes. Now he's got the pace car. But now here's the question. Were the pits closed or were they open? We're going to find out here in just a minute. Everybody coming down here. Red lights are on. So it looks like everyone's going to say, forget the penalty. I got to get it anyway. We all got to come down pit lane. So this will be an interesting restart. You saw the red lights flashing on pit entry. That indicates that they were closed. These guys just can't wait any longer. I'm surprised Derek Welch came in, though, because he had probably another lap or two of fuel left. Corey Teal says he had 0.6 remaining. Now, Corey Deal topped off as well, I think, early on in that first caution, so I'm not sure if these guys just had enough. So Will Hewitt's going to cycle back to the point, it looks like. Matt Sisler as well. PJ Cox going to be P3. Those guys pit at lap 47 just as the caution came out. They managed to get the pit work done. As long as you're on pit lane when the yellow flies, you can complete your service. Lucky, lucky, lucky. A lot of guys say that. I'd rather be lucky than good, but Will Hewitt's been both tonight. It's usually a good recipe for a win. He's got to make it all the way there, but so far, things looking up for the 33. Yeah, Derek Welch says he had 7 left. Was looking pretty because, again, Derek did pit at the end of that first caution, so he had a little bit more. There was a handful of drivers that opted for that strategy, and it was in a good position to make it work, but unfortunately, all goes away with the caution. So second caution of the afternoon. We're going to jump out, get a quick break out of the way. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Not going. Fix up in the lineup.
Back at Michigan Speedway, we were on the 1 to go. They've called it off here as we get into turn 4. Trying to get things squared away as far as the lineup goes. Again, the caution came out right in the middle of the pit cycle. We had some guys already on pit lane, some guys that were not. Trying to get things square. Probably going to get the 1 to go here this time by one more time. And there we have it. Chris Elliott in the stream chat says the 28 EDA Oreos car was running on crumbs there. Goins had 0.0 fuel left when he pit. So effectively, fumes left in the tank of the number 28 machine when he finally got to pit lane. Again, not 100% sure if pits were closed at that point. It appeared the red lights were flashing. It would indicate the pits are closed. But so many came down, maybe the penalties shook out the way that they did and it didn't matter. It's hard to say. So field working into turn 3. We're going to get the restart here at lap 52. Will Hewitt, your leader. Matt Sisler, PJ Cox, Chris Goins, and Derek Welch, the top 5. Then it's Jason Blaney, Drew Blaze, Sean Roberts, Corey Deal, Chris Klein, Stephen Light in 11th, Jarrett Woodard, Ken Blackbird, Daryl Larson, Dan Storm in 15th, last car on the lead lap. Pace car is down. We're ready for a restart.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag waves are back underway. Will Hewitt with a good jump over Matt Sisler, runs in the 2nd position. Now Chris Goins and PJ Cox fighting for that spot as well. Drew Blaze into 5th position. On board with Drew Blaze, he looking to the inside on Chris Goins. No, not enough run to make it happen. Again, I told you at the beginning he was still going to be around as this thing got later and later. Drew Blaze running in the 5th spot. Jason Blaney had a big run out of turn 2, takes the position away, moved Blaney into P5. 3 wide, a ways back here. Looked like chaos about to unfold, and it still looks a little cramped. This is back for the 10th, 11th, 12th positions. Ken Couch right in the middle of it. However, Ken Couch not on the lead lap. Four wide into the corner. 4 wide in the middle of the corner. Nick Kulikowski in the middle of this as well. Man, oh man, they got through it. Ken Couch there, again, not on the lead lap. He is multiple laps down. Again, might be symptomatic of what we talked about early on. It's just fun. It's hard to lift. If you're a racer at heart, you're in a position, you feel like you're racing. It may not be for position. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes it can get you in trouble. Kulikowski tucks in behind Stephen Light, and Kulikowski running 18th, Light running 10th. Atwood, Arn, Kulikowski, Lloyd, Dummermuth, Couch, and Byram not on the lead lap. Dane Lloyd trying to go to the inside for Kulikowski here. This would be for position. Meanwhile, Will Hewitt out to a 2.5 advantage over second place Matt Sisler. Then it's PJ Cox, Chris Goins, Jason Blaney in the top 5. out front, Will Hewitt enjoying a comfortable margin of a lead. 2 seconds back to Matt Sisler. BJ Cox and Chris Goins, though, they're continuing to battle. Matt Sisler losing connection for a moment. Settling into the mid portion of the race. Drivers on relatively newer tires. Heavy fuel. Things pretty well settled, at least for now, but we are in the final third of this event. We're going to take a quick HBR TV side-by-side break, and we'll be back after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Michigan Speedway, 66 laps in of 99. Will Hewitt continuing to lead. Watching some battles on the track, Jason Blaney and Derek Welch fighting for position. This would be for the 8th spot. Some lap traffic involved here as well. 09 of Dane Lloyd, topside on Jason Blaney. Derek Welch, though, right behind the 24. A little bit of a bump. Blaney can handle it. Got to keep it square. Welch backs off on corner entry. Big run for Blaney to the bottom. 2 lap cars topside, 3 wide. That was a huge shove from Derek Welch, sending the 24 of Blaney around both of these lap cars. Jonathan R. in the 43 machine, he'll go topside as well. Let the faster lead lap traffic go on by. Will Hewitt, though, still leading, continuing to stretch that advantage out. It's 2.8 seconds. Really haven't seen that happen at Michigan in quite some time. It's very hard to do because the draft does play such a large role in it. Last lap for Will Hewitt, 39.99. PJ Cox in second was a 40.07. Chris Goins, 40 flat. Matt Sisler, 40.02. Stephen Light up to P5, a 39.92. Fastest driver on the racetrack, at least that time by. Still the advantage grows. Now it's over 3 seconds back to PJ Cox. PJ's by himself for the most part. Not really any challengers for that second position. Chris Goins running third. Then it's Matt Sisler, Stephen Light still. Derek Welch continuing to pass some lap cars here, trying to keep his eyes set on Jason Blaney. Welch running in P9. Welch with about a second and a quarter maybe back to his next challenger, Darrell Larson, in the 10th position. Based on when these drivers made their last pit stop, even with that caution at the beginning of the race, pit stop started at about lap 47, so let's do some backwards math here. Long and simple of it, they're going to have to stop again. Whether it's under the green flag or if they get lucky enough to catch a yellow, they're not done pitting. Looking at the fall off here, Will Hewitt's best lap of the day was a 38.94. His last lap was a 40.41, so tires certainly going away on all of these machines. Don't see anybody gambling with just 2 or none for that matter, unless we get a really late caution. Somebody's trying to put a huge gamble for some good track position. I just don't know if that's going to happen. It's not the right call if you're out in front. If you're at the back on the lead lap, give it a shot. Stephen Light all over the back bumper of Matt Sisler. Finally, we got a battle for position here. Light takes a look to the bottom. This would be for the 4 spot. Sisler goes up to the top. It's kind of been the best way to defend all night long. Keep the high side, use the momentum out of the corner to carry that straightaway speed. .24 laps to go from Michigan. Will Hewitt still out in front, but the deficit now finally starting to shrink. Not by much. It's 2.6 seconds Will has on the rest of the field here. Continue to watch the fight here for the 4th position. Stephen Light hanging on the left rear of Matt Sisler. Textbook pass by Stephen Light. Drove it to the bottom, let it slide up to the top, never lifted. I'm sure he lifted a little bit, but not as much as Sisler had to. Stephen Light now up into P4. Now he's going to target Chris Goins for P3. Gotta wonder, was Stephen saving some tire for later on in this run? Will Hewitt, though, down pit lane from the lead. Locking him up into the box, still got in there nice and clean. Four tires and fuel for Will Hewitt. Let's take a look at the stop. How long does it take him? Not a quick one, 15.6 seconds for Will Hewitt. Had a bit of a lead coming in, so maybe he'll be all right here, but PJ Cox has inherited the top spot. Stephen Light all over the back bumper. 21 laps to go. Pit stops still need to take place, but Light yet to lead a lap today. Goes to the bottom here, trying to take it away from PJ Cox. He's clear if he wants to come up. He's got the space. Nice and gentle out of the corner. He's got the lead. Coming to 20 laps to go. They're still on the backstretch here. See if the 99 stays on the track here to officially lead this lap. He's not really running for points. Joined the season late. He's just out here to have a good time and win some races. Definitely stays on the racetrack as Chris Goins takes the spot from PJ Cox as well. Move Goins up to P2. One check mark in the lead lap column for Stephen Light. So Will Hewitt completed his green flag stop from the lead. 4 tires and fuel, and stayed on the lead lap under green. That is impressive. We talked about rather be lucky than good and how Will Hewitt's had both from both of those categories tonight, and again it continues. Good entry and exit, clean pit stop, no speeding penalties, nothing of the sort, and stays on the lead lap. Can't ask for much more. 19 laps to go. Stephen Light, Chris Goins, PJ Cox, Matt Sisler, Drew Blaze. Current top 5. Then P6 is Derek Welch. Corey Deal in 7th. Larson 8th. Blaney 9th. Sean Robertson P10. And it sounds like these drivers are starting to clutch it and save some fuel. I'm going to ride on board with Stephen Light. There you have it. Stephen Light, fuel conservation mode, 100%. There he does it again down into turn 3. Listen for the engine RPMs to fall. You can see it on the dash too. Drops down to 2,000 RPM. He's hitting the clutch, letting it roll into the corner. Chris Goins likely doing the same. Again, Stephen Light's pit stop came at lap 49. Curious to see if this was the right call or not for Will Hewitt. Seems to be the only lead lap driver to pit. 17 laps to go. Again, he stayed on the lead lap, so nicely done for Will Hewitt, and he certainly has a faster pace right now. You factor in everybody else is out there. If they're trying to make it to the end on fuel, they're going to be at a reduced pace. Last lap for the leader, Stephen Light, 40.32 seconds. Will Hewitt's last lap, 40.32. Will Hewitt's last lap was a 39.28. Full second and a couple of tenths faster. 16 to go. Will Hewitt's 34 seconds in the rearview mirror, however. He doesn't have enough time to get back up there at the rate he's going with the distance he's behind. Yes, he's fast. Yes, he's got fresh tires, but he's out of time. The only thing that could really save him here is a caution, where these guys start and decide, you know what, I'm not going to make it. See how it goes. Remember, Will Hewitt, his good luck that he had prior with the caution coming out as he was on pit lane may have cost him just a bit. Because remember, his pit stop was at lap 47. The caution came out the same lap, which means the drivers that are currently out front, Stephen Light and Chris Gomes, they were able to pit 2 laps later. Now, I get it. We're under caution at that point. We're not burning as much fuel, but every drop makes a difference. If there's nothing in the tank and it's all you got left that's in the line, well, if that's enough to get you across the start-finish line as the checkered flag waves, well, it doesn't matter how much is left afterwards. Will Hewitt might have been just short enough to say, you know what, I got to come now, get these fresh tires, try to undercut everybody, see what I can make of this, and hope for a caution, because he's certainly going to need it. Will Hewitt all by himself, too. That's the other part of this. It's helpful to have the draft. Obviously, he was quick enough out in front by himself to pull away from the rest of the field. I almost want a dancing partner here. Stephen Light with a half-second advantage over Chris Gomes. $13 laps to go. Jones made up some time there, picked up about a tenth and a half. Both drivers running very equal laps, lap to lap. In fact, that time Light was much slower, a 40.58 to Gones' 40.41. A lot of that may have to do with the fuel number. How slow do you gotta go to make it all the way home? 2.5 tenths the advantage for Stephen Light in closing. Chris Gones picking up some draft. That's going to help fuel economy as well. Stephen Light drops it down to the bottom. Shortcut the racetrack just a bit. That's legal, but I think he's also trying to break the draft. Put some air on the nose of the 28. Put him in a situation. Top two within half a tenth of each other, lap time wise, the last time by. 10 laps to go. Stephen Light still out in front. Less than a half second ahead of Chris Goins. Goins has had a strong car all day. Stephen Light won the pole position, had to go to the back. Chris Goins started outside pole. And they currently run 1 and 2, coming to 9 laps to go. Fuel is a question mark for all of these drivers. They're out there trying to save. Do they have enough? Can they save enough? You can still hear them backing out of the throttle and letting in the clutch. In the home stretch here, less than 8 laps to go. Stephen Light from the rear of the field leads this race with 7 laps to go. Was involved in an altercation early on, had some damage to get repaired. Went down pit lane, spent, well, 2 pit stops worth in the box. Slowly but surely has worked his way up through the field and is now starting to put some distance on Chris Goins. Again, the lap time's getting longer and longer for these drivers. They're out here trying to make it to the end on 1 stop. Effectively 1 stop. Again, Stephen Light with his repair stop. Let's not count that. Was not scheduled, but certainly had a factor. Got some extra fuel in that machine. But Chris Goins out here, he's only made 1 stop today. That was at lap 49. Same as Stephen Light. Some drivers leaving pit lane here. Darrell Larson out of the pits. Deficit is still growing for Chris Goins, but the last time by they were within 1/100th of a second of each other as far as the lap time goes. This time it's a 40.62 for Light and a 40.70 for Goins with 5 laps to go. Matt Sisler in the pits with 5 laps to go. He's going to have to top off the tank. I got to wonder here, is this going to be fuel only? Just to splash and go and get out of here. Closest driver to the top 5 here, making a pit stop. Locks up the fronts. Splash and go for Sisler. He's down and away. He's going to have to hustle, though. Stephen Light, cross start finish. Four laps to go. Sisler does get out of here without losing a lap. PJ Cox in the pits as well. Stephen Light crosses the stripe. 3 laps remain from Michigan Speedway. It's Light, Goins, Blaze, Corey Deal, Sean Roberts, the top 5. Will Hewitt's back in the 6th position. Still 23 seconds back, though. He may get a spot out of this. Sean Roberts is within striking distance as long as he's got the pace. Sean Roberts, you can see the distance from the 66 back to Will Hewitt. Sounded like the 66 car wasn't even running in the middle of the corner. Two laps to go. It's a stretch. It really, really is. It's going to be close. The top three, just how they started. Light, Goins, and Blaze, at least how they qualified. Corey Deal again in the fourth position. He's up 4 spots. Sean Roberts in fifth. He's up 10. Will Hewitt started 20th, runs P6. It's going to be an impressive run for him either way. Certainly a letdown with the strategy. Stephen Light off of turn number 4. Crosses the stripe, white flag in the air. One more lap for Stephen Light. Had to go to the back, trying to go worst to first here at Michigan Speedway, trying to salvage every drop of Sunoco racing fuel out of that machine as he's out of turn number 2. Stephen Light slows just a bit, back to the power. On a turn 4, checkered flag in the air. Stephen Light has saved just enough to win this race. The Irish Hills 198 goes to the 99. Masterful job at driving through the field, not giving up and saving fuel all the way to the finish. Chris Goins is going to take second, Drew Blaze third, Corey Deal fourth, and Sean Roberts P5. Does he have enough to celebrate? If he does, he saved too much. Or did it run out? I think it ran out. Yeah, she's dead in the water, folks. With that, we'll jump out here, get a break out of the way, be back with our top 3 finishers after this. Stay with us.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
back at Michigan Speedway for the Irish Hills 198. It's run to completion. Stephen Light, your race winner. So you can pull the driver of the 099 up into the HBR TV booth. Stephen, it's Steve in the booth. You got us?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Congratulations, man. A masterful drive through this field. Had to go to the back at the start, I believe, for a wind penalty, unless there was another issue out there. But quietly worked your way through the field. But early on, got involved in that first caution. A little bit of contact, a little bit of left side damage. Walk us through that incident out of turn 2.
Yeah, it was my teammate there. He was just doing a good job. I think he was focused on the guy that was in front of him, and he kind of checked up on exit. But there was a lot of room on the top above him, so I just went to the top above him. And as soon as we got straight, he got real loose, got into my right side or left side, which caused him to spin. And unfortunately, that was a good 20, 30 seconds of damage. Actually, it was more than that. I think it was like 45 seconds of damage. So I had to. Luckily, the caution came out. I was able to fix that without wasting the fast repair. And this place is just really, really, really hard to pass. The rear gear ratios weren't really right on them. We were hitting the chip pretty early on the straightaway. So even when you had big runs off the corner, the car would pretty much stall out, even if you were drafting or not drafting, because you were on the chip. So that made passing a lot more difficult. And I was actually going to, as far as strategy goes, I was going to split that last green flag run there in half because I knew we were about a lap or two short on fuel. And then when they extended the yellow, I started doing the math, and I said, if I can save half a lap, maybe a lap, I can probably do this without pitting. And it's not easy to do. It takes patience, and it's obviously Chris and Drew also did amazing jobs doing the same thing. I think me and Chris both hit 0-0 at the finish line. We were out of gas at the line, but it's hard to be patient and just commit to saving fuel the whole run. Especially when you're watching everybody in front of you drive away. And you don't know if there's going to be a caution or not a caution. It's a tough thing to do patience-wise, but we all did a good job, I think.
It's a skill to be learned. It's definitely part of the craft, but it's hard to be that disciplined, and certainly if you're not even 100% sure that it's going to work. In your guys' cases, again, running out at the start-finish line as you cross the checkers, that is down to a science. You guys did a great job at it, and congratulations for it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, Chris and Drew did really, really amazing job of saving. With about 20 to go, I was saving fuel, and I was slowly catching in on I think it was the second through sixth pack there, and I once I got close to them, I figured I probably needed to push a little bit, just hard, just to get in front of that group, because if I kept saving behind them, eventually the tires weren't going to be there when I needed to pass. So I went ahead and burned a little fuel to get out in front of that group, and then when the leader pitted at that point, it was back to saving. And then Chris made it tough on me. I was saving really good there for a long stretch, and then when Chris started coming hard behind me, I was like, oh man, he might have saved more than I did, and it was already going to be close. So he did a really good job pushing me hard there. He almost ran me out too early, and it was all around, but it's nice to see some strategy come into play and to see it work out. It was a lot of fun. Great win for Mecca Racing, and everybody involved. Everybody did a good job. It was really fun racing with everybody. Drew and Chris, we had some really good battles throughout the race.
Great race to watch. The first third of this thing was crazy. It was like watching the last third should have been. Crazy aggression, passes for the lead, nonstop battles, and then the second half of it kind of calmed down a bit. And then the third half, you guys with all your fuel conservation, strategy, action, everything was here tonight. You come away with the win. Next week, though, we go to Bristol Dirt. Certainly a completely different animal than what we had here at Michigan. Number one, are you going to be around next week? And what are your thoughts about Bristol Dirt with the Next Gen Cup car?
Yeah, well, I think I have to start from the pits, so I will definitely not miss it to get that out of the way. I don't do a whole lot of. I mean, I did a lot of dirt racing growing up, but not really on iRacing. So I'll be sure to try to get some testing in next week before that race, and hopefully get a feel of it, and try to overcome the pit road thing. And just that one, I'm not expecting to win that one. I'm just gonna hopefully have a good, clean run and have some fun out there.
Well, we certainly look forward to it, Stephen. Again, congratulations on the win here tonight. Who do you want to shout out to?
Shout out to my teammates, Jonathan and all the boys on our Mecca race team. I appreciate, like I said before, bringing me in to race with these guys. A good group of guys in here, a lot of talented guys, and it's fun to see the clean racing and strategies involved. And you guys do a really good job in the booth. Appreciate you guys too, and look forward to the next one.
Well, thanks, man. Certainly good luck next week at Bristol. Thanks for talking to us.
You too. Thanks.
Stephen Light, your race winner here from Michigan, the Irish Hills 198. Next, we're going to pull Chris Goins up into the broadcast booth and get a word with our runner-up. Chris Goins, it's Steve in the HBR TV broadcast booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. I got you, Steve. What's going on?
Chris, congratulations. Outside front row qualifying attempt and really battling out front all night long. I had to save some fuel at the end. Not quite enough to catch Stephen Light, but you got to kind of balance the aggression with the savings, man. Tell us about your race and what has gotten into you lately. You've been up here battling for these wins every week.
Well, you know, in some races, that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles, I guess. But it's one of those, you know, the beginning part of this race, it was just a matter of just trying to survive. For me, I usually have pretty bad luck here. So I just wanted to kind of get out front, kind of stay away from trouble. Tires do burn off quite a bit here. You know, so my thing is trying to save some tire. I saved some towards that into that first run, and then I saw, believe it was Matt and Will right behind me pitted, and then the caution came out that next lap, and I was in trouble. I was out of fuel when I hit the pit road. So, but the second run, I was pretty much running, just trying to maintain tires, save tires for, you know, close to the end, because I had planned on like a stop and go, just a splash of fuel there at the end, not change tires. Hopefully catch some other people sleeping. But I looked down and it was really close. So with about 30 to go, I started clutching it through the corners, and luckily he was just able to save enough. Steven got by me, and I knew he was saving too. So I tried to push him just a little bit to have him maybe sputter coming off the corner on the last lap or something, but just didn't quite work out.
Not quite enough, but let's go back to that first pit stop with the caution. I'm not sure if the pits were officially closed or not. I know the red lights were flashing, which would usually indicate a closed pit lane. Did you come down regardless, or were they open?
No, they were open. When I hit when the caution came out, I was clutching it to try and save fuel to make it all the way back around again, and I caught the pace car going into 3, and that's when the pit road open was in the middle of 3 and 4. So I was able to come down that lap.
Worked out in the end, brought it home to a second place finish. Next week, Bristol Dirt. Again, we talked about it with Stephen Light. Completely different animal than what we had here this afternoon. How do you feel about your chances out on the dirt track at Bristol next week?
Well, as long as I'm not looking out my windshield through somebody else's windshield next week, I think I'll be doing all right. I just want to keep it going straight. So I am not a dirt guy. I'll be putting in a lot of practice this week, but dirt is not where I'm good at. So it's just a survival race next week, and just to get through it and get to the next one.
We certainly wish you the best going into Bristol next week. Chris, before we let you go, who do you want to shout out to?
Just the agentdotson.com, the Eric Dotson Agency, State Farm. They are still on the car this week, so almost broke that bad luck streak there. But guys over at Right Turn Racing, want to thank you, Steve here at HBR, all the LSR guys, definitely my family at home for putting up with me sitting in here doing this. So I appreciate it with them too.
All right, Chris, again, congratulations. Good luck next week.
I appreciate it, Steve.
It's Chris Goins, your runner-up here at Michigan. Next, it's number 1 Lonestar racing driver. That's Drew Blaze, third place finisher here this afternoon. Drew, it's Steve in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Drew, congratulations, man. Qualified third, finished third. It was kind of the same. The top 3 drivers kind of all finished up where they qualified. But walk us through your race. You had pace. You kind of gave it up early, but as we always see, you're always around hunting for a win here at the end, man. Walk us through the strategy and how you played out with this race tonight.
Yeah. Well, that first run, I wanted to make it to halfway, and to make sure I could at least be good on fuel and keep doing the same thing I was doing. But we didn't quite make it there with the caution, so I had to switch it up a little bit. So I started going at the beginning of the second half of the race there, and I was like, okay, we're going to be really close on fuel. So I started just clutching in the corners and backing up the entry and doing all that stuff. And I felt like I was just saving fuel the whole race, to be honest.
Seems like the whole top 4, you guys all came down lap 49 for your one and only pit stop, essentially, and you've all managed to come through here, save enough fuel to get to the start-finish line at the end. So job well done. I know it's a difficult task. It's a skill that is to be learned by many, mastered by very few. You guys seem to have it figured out pretty good. How close were you at the end?
Very close. I was probably less than half a lap till we good. So. And it kept going up and down, fluctuating. I would try to push it a little bit to try to catch them, and it would go way down. So it's like, no, I'm just going to keep my third spot and make sure I have enough fuel to make it to the next line.
Well, we've already asked the top two how they feel about next week at Bristol Dirt. I know you come from a dirt background. Stephen Light's got a little bit of dirt experience as well, but how do you feel about Bristol Dirt next week and your chances to take home a checkered flag?
Oh, I feel real good. We ran it this past week for the officials. I was tearing up the top split races, so if I can tear those guys up, I'm pretty sure I can do the same thing here.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck next week. Drew, who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, this kind of thing. Lonestar Racing, Garza Law Firm, Mike Fahey, Justin Johnson, just all my guys, everybody who supports me day in and day out. Thank you for putting on the broadcast. And thank everybody out there for watching.
All right, Drew, again, thanks for talking to us. Congratulations on P3. Certainly good luck trying to win the race next week. I think you're going to go in there as the favorite, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It was Drew Blaze, your third place finisher. Corey Deal brought it home in the fourth spot. Let's take a look, actually, before we run down those actual race results and actually look at them. Corey Deal was fourth. Sean Roberts finished in fifth. Sixth was Will Hewitt. Tough break for Will. Still managed a solid finish, but he's not running full time. He wanted to come out of here with a win. That was the goal. That's what it looked like the first, at least half of this race. He was dominant, not giving an inch to anyone, was leading a bunch of laps, had to pit. He came down with 22 to go, just probably not confident that he had enough. He might have been able to, but with the pace that he was running, maybe not. We'll never know. Still comes home in the sixth spot. Jason Blaney was seventh. Dan Storm brought it home in the eighth position. Derek Welch was ninth. Chris Klein, 10th. Matt Sisler battled out front for quite a while as well. He was relegated back to 11th place, last car on the lead lap. Jarrett Woodard was 12th. 13th, PJ Cox. Ken Blackburn finished in the 14th spot. 15th, Nick Kolakowski. Dane Lloyd was 16th. Ken Couch, P17. Clay Atwood was 18th. 19th went to Darrell Larson. Tim Dummermuth was 20th, Jonathan Arnn 21st, and Jonathan Byram finishes 22nd, 68 laps down. Once again, thank you guys all for tuning in tonight, watching tonight's race. We did have some chatter in the stream chat. I always do appreciate that. If you haven't already checked out the new website, which is barely built, it's hbrtv1.com. Things coming soon for that particular site. You'll be able to watch the live streams there, check out some screenshots periodically. We do appreciate that, but don't forget about the social media, Facebook and YouTube. youtube.com/@HBRTV1. You can check us out there. Please like, follow, share, subscribe. If you're watching it tonight, give us a like. It absolutely helps. It pushes this to a wider audience, helps get some more eyeballs on the channel and the league. But that's going to wrap it up for us. Congratulations to Stephen Light taking home the checkered flag again here tonight. Join us next week, same time, same channel. Bristol Dirt, these next-gen Cup cars. We'll see how it goes, folks. It's either going to be insane or insanely good, one or the other. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night.